In 1987, another trapped great white, 18 feet long and weighing over 4,000 pounds, enjoyed its brief and posthumous dockside celebrity, and it too had a belly full of dolphins.
So they're all mature.
Clemente Ventrone is a veteran tuna fisherman with experience of sharks.
And
the last one in 88, he had kept in his stomach an entire dolphin of over 200 kilos.
Era tranciato in due pezzi, due bocconi.
It was two pieces of this dolphin, cut in half. There was two of them. One was a female, the one they got, and the second one was a male. The female was trapped at the very beginning of the dead cage. I mean, at the very beginning of the corridor that leads to the cage. And it was there, it was dead, and they take it out immediately. The scuba diver went inside it and discovered that there was a second one, a male, and he was cutting the net to take it out. And as soon as he discovered it was still alive, and the shark moved and tried to bite him, but it escaped.
Am I right in thinking that the other one was a male, the one which escaped?
Yes, that's for sure.
To Ferguson and Marks, the reports from the fishermen of Favignana are extremely significant. It looks as if they've stumbled upon a great white breeding area. In fact, the local divers who have the most dangerous job of the Matanza, checking the nets in the Camera del Morte, have a saying: if you see a female shark, look around. The male won't be far away. If this is true, then the role of the great white as more than just an occasional visitor to the Mediterranean will have to be reassessed.
Shark bites. Sharks are known for their speed, but just how fast can they swim? There's only one way to find out. Stay tuned. Watch and win game. Now, Shark Week continues.
Aided by the deepwater fishing fleet here at Mazara, marine biologist Professor Fulgosi is also building a picture of great white breeding activity.
These are jaws of juvenile white sharks. They were caught around Sicily, in the Sicily Channel, and possibly along the northern African coast. The smallest specimen possibly is a newborn specimen, I think a year old about. It's possible that pregnant females discharge youngs in the Mediterranean. I suspect that this area is a nursery for this species.
But the evidence from the catches of the deepwater fishing fleet raises another significant issue, beyond the fact that this may be a great white breeding area. From the contents of their stomachs, it's clear that the great whites in the Mediterranean feed upon dolphin and giant tuna, two of the fastest and most agile creatures in the sea. To Ian Ferguson, this fact overturns the commonly held belief that great whites are little more than vicious but clumsy muggers. It seems more likely, in the Mediterranean at least, that the great white is a cunning strategist. Staying deep, its keen eyesight watches for any possible prey which may be silhouetted against the light surface of the sea. The great white's darker dorsal coloring camouflages it as it stalks its next meal, until the moment when it streaks towards the surface, jaws agape, a terrifying 2-ton torpedo. Armed with this new theory about shark behavior in the Mediterranean, Ferguson and Marks have returned to Malta. Ferguson believes that it's now possible to suggest why sharks occasionally attack people, and why Jack Smedley lost his life all those years ago, here in St. Thomas Bay. Tony Grech, the survivor of that fatal shark attack, is taking them to where it all happened.
We were enjoying our swim, and then, all of a sudden, I heard Mr. Smedley shout, "Look out!" Look out! turning my head towards the direction where Mr. Smedley was supposed to be, I couldn't see anything. Instantly, something brushed against my body under the water, and I got hold to it, see? And the area where I got hold to was cold and hard and slippery. I also saw a fin passing in front of me. I can't recall whether it was a dorsal fin or a side fin. Also, I noticed that on my right-hand side, a small distance away, the tail of the fish butting out of the water, see?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, I saw something under the water, so I couldn't make up actually what it was, but all of a sudden, Mr. Smedley was dragged down again and disappeared completely from my view.
From what Tony Grech told them of the attack, Ferguson can now piece together a scenario which fits both the ecology of the area and the known behavior of the Mediterranean great white.
What we know is that the ecology of St. Thomas and other bays up and down the coast here was very different then to how it is today. One of the major differences was that tuna were actively fished in some of these bays very close inshore. And we also know from the old records that white sharks were caught in those nets with variable frequency. I suspect what happened on that day was a white shark, perhaps following tuna, cruised into the bay. Maybe it lost the tuna it was following, but decided just to hang around anyway. The two swimming, the only two people who were swimming far out in the bay, was Jack Smedley and Tony Grech. At the surface, they were an easily available opportunity to the white shark. They were easily spotted. The white shark essentially cruised behind them. It came up, it grabbed Jack Smedley, and it had no intention of ever letting him go.
Surfers beware. After the break is your chance to win in the Mark of the Shark Watch and Win game. Get your game cards ready and Mark of the Shark Watch and Win game. Place your game card in the red square now. If the symbol on your card is the shark dive cage pictured below, congratulations, you just won a Shark Week flying disc. To redeem your prize, follow the instructions on your game piece. If you didn't win, don't touch that remote. Tomorrow night there are more prizes and the mark is different. Now, back to Shark Week. Surfers, beware.
In Favignana, the Matanza is about to start. The fishermen are pulling up the nets that lead from the outer chambers, closing the door on the Camera del Morte. The first sight of the tuna as the nets draw the chamber tight. These giant bluefin are among the largest fish in the world. The biggest are over 10 feet long and weigh more than 1,000 pounds. Their sleek torpedo shape helps them dive to 1,000 feet and swim at speeds up to 55 miles an hour. The fish panic. Now there's no escape.